Hello everybody, my name is Exiled and welcome to Terminus Tuesdays. I'm here today with Ghost Collie again, who joined us last week, and this week our actual normal co-host, who was elusive yet last week, Kwin.
Hello.
Put that over there. There we go.
Didn't know I was going to be on the stream.
Nah, that's good. I told you.
He doesn't want to show my face.
No, you don't want to show your face.
Oh, there we go. No, I don't.
Not today, at least.
I thought you said you were going to put a bunch of cleavage in that photo. What happened?
I was trying to, but, you know, it's kind of... Let me see. Is that working a little bit better? Where are we going? No, wait. Crap.
We don't need to see her eyes. Just scroll it up a little.
Right?
Just throw a bag over my face and call it a day.
That's what most people do, so...
Bag. The interchangeable girlfriend of the relationship.
There we go. Okay. A little bit better there. We're good. Alright. Anyway, guys, so as you guys know, yes, there's no linking in the chat there, guys. As you guys know, WildStar is a game that is scheduled to release in spring of 2014. So I would say probably here in the next 6 months we'll probably see the game coming out, and it's definitely a good thing to see. So every week we come through and we talk about what was recently released this week for WildStar. This week was pretty significant, and if you didn't see the streams and the drops and everything that they gave us, you missed out on a little bit of information. But we're gonna cover it all today. Basically, what it comes down to is we have the Esper that was dropped today. The Esper is a ranged DPS magic caster as well as a healer. These people, or this class in particular, specializes in using telekinetic blades and things like that to send out damage, and then using other types of what's the word I'm looking for? Magic and stuff to heal their allies. Apparently there are several different ways to play the Esper, which is very interesting. Watching the video, you actually saw the Esper being played both as a ranged nuke type mage, and then also a close range, you know, almost melee type of Esper, which was very interesting to see. What? Yeah. So, yeah, I lost my train of thought here. It was very interesting to see that the Esper could be played in a melee capacity, especially considering that, you know, a lot of people had worries that if the Esper was caught in a melee range, they would pretty much be demolished. They actually did a PvP, a little bit of a duel with a warrior on there, and they disproved that, showing that the Esper can hold their own against a warrior in any melee on there. And actually beat the warrior, and then also proved in some other cases how the warrior could easily be kited. In that case, I don't really think the warrior was kited in that PvP video. If you guys saw it, the stream that they did, he had a little bit of a duel going on with another warrior, and he didn't really kite him all that much. They all jumped around and everything, but that was the whole point of the action combat system, was so that they could, you know, move around each other a lot and try to get in the right positions for the abilities that they were doing. It was a very interesting video. What did you guys think of that?
I was looking for telegraphs, because my whole issue is I'm going to get into this game and I'm going to stand in the fire and I'm not going to pay attention to the telegraphs. I didn't really see that many going on the warrior side, which was strange. Unless I missed them.
Well, no, here's the thing, is they have an option, and apparently they mentioned this later in the video, is that you can actually turn off the ability to see some telegraphs, being like your allies' telegraphs and things like that. You can actually turn those abilities off. You probably wouldn't normally see that with an enemy and everything, but with the warrior, when I saw him playing on there, the warrior, I don't think that warrior was really using a whole lot of telegraph abilities, so that's why we didn't really see a whole lot. Like, whenever he attacked, you saw the little red thing for like a moment, but that was pretty much it.
I want to say that the Esper stopped him, like, from casting, or did, like,
I believe
knock
they
down
said the
abilities.
Esper was king of king of control. So
Right.
yeah, they have their stuns, their knockbacks, and their sleeps and everything.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
again.
in the video, I mean, the Esper catches him 2 or 3 times, trying to cast do like an entire cast sequence or whatever, and actually stuns him and gets him vulnerable and everything. So she knocks off or he knocks off a good chunk of health whenever he does that. So it was very interesting to see how the Esper was being played that way, and he actually built himself. I think for that one he built himself in the melee style where he was actually no he was the nuke style in that one. So he was definitely in the stance where he should just sit back and just dish out a lot of damage and everything, but he was actually getting up into the fray with the warrior and holding his own. They have this really neat ability. Let me see if I can find it. Called nope, it's gas fixation.
My favorite ability was the gold armor.
That's the one I'm looking for. Phantasmal Armor is what it's called. It's an AoE
That's the
spell.
one.
It's an AoE spell which gives damage absorption, a damage absorption shield to nearby allies, covering them in a gold armor. It also gives them an interrupt armor, which prevents them from being hit by a CC ability, which in PvP, as you guys know, is fucking amazing thing to have because we're in PvP. That is one of the hugest things you always do. You always want to try and keep that person, CC'd and try to keep them out of the combat as much as possible. And the Esper's having an ability, and this is an AoE ability. He applies it to everybody in his party, not just himself, which is very, in my opinion, overpowered as shit. But I don't think it'll go anywhere because it's only one CC ability, and every class looks like they're going to have multiple CCs that they're going to be able to utilize. So knocking out one of those CC abilities is going to help a lot in the the PvP aspect of things, and also I think just throughout the entire gameplay. OP.
Well, it also depends on what you choose too, because you're only going to have 7 slots. So if you have 7 control abilities,
10.
you're not going to have anything to attack with.
It
Was
looks
10? I
like
thought it was 7.
it's 10 because if you look at the action bar, the way it's set up and everything, they only had 7, and I think it was because he was only a certain level. I think he was only like level 20 something, around the 20 area. And you probably, as you level up, you gain more and more slots. Your initial slots are probably like 5, and then as you level up, you get more and more slots to get that you can add on there. And there was 3 slots in particular that were on his bar that were not being used. They had a little lock icon over them. So I'm assuming, it's just an assumption, that at some point you do have the ability to get up to 10 slots on there so that you can set all your keys up and everything like that.
Yeah, but those could just be utility slots for to put a potion in or something. Those
It's a
may not be
yeah, and one of them and the other one it also counts in they said every class has an innate ability, right? And the innate ability takes up one slot out of every single bar on there. So if they didn't count the innate ability on there, which it looked like was a requirement to stay on there, because it didn't look like he had the ability to choose whether he wanted that to be on there or not. If you looked every time that he did an action set and everything, it asked him to change all the other keys except for his innate ability. It always stayed there. So I'm assuming that one of those is the innate ability, and then there's still 8 or 9 more abilities that you can add onto there. So it's one thing to look for on there.
You know what I noticed is that when he pulled up the skill pane, there was a certain allotment of points as well. So you can have, I think, 8 skills, but then I think he had up to 11 points. And the higher tier the skill cost more points. So if you put in like a tier 3 skill, it reduces the number of skills you can put into your bar because of that point allotment.
Well, I don't know about that because it looked like the skills. Because when I looked at it,
you get certain skills when you level, but you can also buy skills, and that's what the points are for.
But that's what they said and everything, was that you could buy skills and everything, which was a very interesting mechanic for them to put in the game. But it would be kind of, I don't know, it might do something to the economy and everything if somebody comes back and they're they start talking about how, oh, in order to be like the best Esper in the game, or the best Esper, or the best whatever class in the game, you need to go buy this skill. And then people are selling this thing on the market house for like 1 billion gold, and it's like, you know, if I gotta pay 1 billion gold for an ability, I'm like, I don't want that ability anymore. I'll find another way for it to work, you know. So
it wasn't gold. You gain skill points as you leveled, and you use those skill points as your currency. From my experience, anyway.
Well, the skill points, I don't think it goes that way. I think it's a different way of the skills on there. The skill points are to level up your abilities so that they do more damage, more healing, less cooldown times, things like that. You have like whenever he was doing the tier things on there, and it goes all the way up to tier 9. Each of the abilities, you get so many points to put on these abilities and everything, and every tier gives you an additional ability onto that skill. So what I'm assuming, and this is my assumption, is that you're getting to get all your abilities, but what you're going to have to buy is your tier points. So you may have to buy, you know, in some form or another. It may not be monetary or some other way. Maybe like, you know, go finish so many excuse me, go finish, you know, this puzzle, a specific puzzle here, or, you know, a jump puzzle here and there, and it gives you another skill point. Kind of like how Guild Wars 2 did it, where every time you finish like a jump puzzle and you went and attuned with the little spot over there, it gave you one of those little blue chevron things that you added in to unlock more abilities. Kind of like that, except for instead of unlocking abilities, it's going to give you the ability to increase the magnitude of a certain ability. That's at least that's the way I look at it. That's the way I think it most likely would be. What is this? What did you link me?
So this is the part of the stream where he's picking his points, and if you notice,
sorry about that. Anyways,
he'll click on like a tier 3, and the number of point allotment will go down, and then the tier will go on his bar. I think you can choose which tier you want on your bar. If you want like a higher tier of one skill, but then you don't have enough points, so you pick a lower tier for another skill.
Right. Well, the points don't go away by adding the ability onto the bar, though. They go away whenever you add those tiers onto there. So as you start adding more tiers, it becomes more potent. So in his case, when he was doing that duel on there, he was adding the skills, or the tiers of the skills and everything, to make his attack abilities more stronger. And like he had like one tier or an extra tier on one of his support abilities to make it a little bit better on his support. So all of the tier points and everything, they're just there to increase the stats rather than actually cost a tier point to unlock the stat. Does that make sense?
Can you pull up that video and put it on the stream?
Yeah, I can. Let's see.
Because if you look at the abilities here, you see how there's only 8 slots for the abilities. There's not the 10 that you're seeing. I'm really thinking those 3 that you see are for, you know, like potions or something that are locked.
Let me see if I can do this a little bit better. Let me delete that out of there. We're going to add a screen region. Okay, so this was the video that they showed, and this was the point in which he was about to fight the warrior on there, and this basically shows everything as far as his ability pool and everything, and what he was doing whenever he was setting that up. So we'll play it from that point real quick.
Because you need to explain that, you know, you have all these different things, and per build and per game type.
Yeah, and that makes sense. The bottom row being for extra things like items, mounts, etc. That does make sense.
Right, to every situation. And you know, like, right, if I'm fighting an Esper or a warrior or a stalker, it's going to change, probably in your tactics and what you're going to fight with.
Let's see how this goes.
So, and just watch this video. Watch what he does in the video, and how he doesn't really kite the warrior so much as the warrior is jumping out of the abilities, same as he is.
He's going into melee range with the warrior, which I wouldn't say is the best idea. But he's blade dancing around. He's dishing out a decent amount. Is he? Are you even hurting him?
Man.
Dude, his shields right now
I'm
looking
thinking
real
he's
good.
deflecting.
Yeah, his
See, if you pay attention and you see at the beginning of the video,
You see that dodge?
the warrior is actually
So
just
I'd
beating
also
the
like
living
to
shit
point out
out of
that
him
Jade
because
is,
he's
fighting
not
here.
dodging. He's not doing what he's supposed to be doing and everything. And then later on, he starts coming back and actually starts defeating the warrior.
Focus points up. He's up 2 focus points. Don't forget your phantasmal armor.
Oh,
Jade,
I
that is
just threw it
so
up.
weak.
Do
That
you
is so
even
weak right
PvP,
now.
Jade?
Well, you know when you're DPS.
Is it
Do I
time?
PvP?
Is it time to bust your innate?
Not yet, not yet.
It's there. It's ready
I
for
know,
you.
I gotta...
You see how some of his big abilities have those huge cooldowns?
Mm-hmm.
You're jumping
I don't
all
think
over
they're
the
going to be
place.
overpowered like people are thinking. I mean, he
Yeah.
has those cooldowns on them crowd control abilities
Dude,
that are
I hope
going
Mario
to
hits him again.
inhibit your...
It is
now.
you're not
He
going
just
to want to
busted his
stop
innate,
him
but you better go.
Yeah,
You
it's
go.
there.
and not
Alright,
be able
so
to use abilities.
Jay just uses innate ability, which I think we didn't get that across earlier.
Oh, and
that
I
actually
whipped-
makes it so that he's immune. He
Gorgeous.
whipped. He whipped.
He whips
big.
it so hard.
He was
It's
immune to all
alright,
damage.
it's
This whole
alright,
thing
it's
gives me
Oh, it's
anxiety.
looking good now,
It's
though.
getting close. It looks like he's about to.
So
take it.
exciting.
No.
Oh,
keep
he's
going.
9 hit points.
He's
He's deflected.
Oh, dude.
What's going on?
Oh,
This
dude.
And the
this
fact
is
that the
not
warrior
how-
has this much least health
do not.
and he's still able to just
He
hold
deflected
on.
again. His shields are coming.
Warriors
back.
are gonna be pretty
His
powerful.
shields
Oh,
are
I
coming
haven't
back.
hit him.
This is
Come
amazing.
on, Jade.
So
Come on.
again,
Warriors
to point
are
out, our shields do
warriors.
regenerate after a certain
Oh,
time.
I got
you got
it.
it, you got it.
We did.
Okay,
We
got
did
it.
get him though.
in general, in any game.
Classes, or I'm sorry, all 6 classes eventually.
Well, Astyanax lag is a potential problem, but as far as I remember reading, they're spreading out their servers the way they're supposed to be spread out, not the way certain games that won't be named, Final Fantasy, basing them out of one location. They're gonna have servers everywhere where they're supposed to be. So, if you're an American player, they're going to want you to play on the American servers and everything, the ones that are closest to you. European players are going to be playing in European servers and things like that, so that the lag is minimized as much as possible. So, and being a game like this, it is absolutely imperative that you don't have any lag in the game, because if you do have lag, it's going to absolutely destroy your gameplay experience. It's going to destroy your PvP experience. It's just going to overall the game is not going to be fun for you, because you're not going to be able to hit anything because everything is jumping out of the way on you. So well, Opie, that was actually his innate ability that he had activated, the warrior. The warrior's ability was to increase his dodge percentage, and so that's why he was dodging so much right at the end. And same thing with the Esper. When he activated his innate ability, it made him invulnerable to all damage for a certain amount of time. So they end up being they end up kind of like canceling each other out on that one. But I want to say that it's possible that the warrior may have had some other abilities that increase his dodge as well, so he may have been able to keep it going afterwards, and that's why the Esper kept missing a lot of abilities near the end on there, and he just kept missing over and over again from the dodges. So definitely, though, it was a very, very interesting video. If you guys have not seen it, I would definitely head over to WildStar's video, or WildStar's website, and check out the Esper class drop on there. It gives you all the information, all the Esper classes and everything like that, and everything that was basically talked about in there. So on there, as far as it goes, from what we've seen on the video, one huge thing that a lot of people were asking about in the forums and things like that is if there was going to be a rep grind in the game. And this video alone proves that there is going to be a rep grind in the game. I believe it's in the part 1 video when he's in that very beginning area when he starts playing. That video shows that whenever he starts killing these little mobs, right before he dies the first time on stream, which was pretty funny to watch, but right before he dies the first time, you actually see every time he was killing a mob, it showed up saying that something rep increased by 27 or something like that. So there is a huge indicator right there that there is a reputation farm that we're going to have to do in the game when it comes out, which is fine with me. I've never had any problem with rep grinds. Rep grinds give you a reason to come back to the game. It gives you a reason, because they usually have some really awesome things that you can buy from those reputation factions to give you better gear and things like that, either while you're leveling or... Good.
I'm betting that the rep is going to play a big role in getting like items for your house, decorational items
yes.
for your house.
Oh my goodness. That's
I'm
great.
almost positive they probably will do that. they probably will have a lot of reps in there that you'll have to grind up just to get just so you can get these amazing pieces and stick them into your into your guard or into your housing plot, and say, hey, I got this because I got to exalted reputation or whatever the reputation rank names are. So
yeah, like if you want Draken looking items, you're gonna get rep with the Draken.
mm-hmm.
If you want Draken based chairs and beds and things like that, or if you want the other races, you're gonna have to rep with them.
Yeah, and it's definitely gonna be.
I'm hoping they don't make that stuff BOP, because if you get the rep up and then you can buy it and sell it on the market to people who don't have the rep.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do that because it defeats the whole point of rep grinding. The whole point of rep grinding is to. Yeah, the whole point of rep grinding is specifically just to get those items and and be able to put them in your house or whatever. If you're gonna go out there and be like, all right, I got this item, I'm gonna sell it on the auction house for 50,000 gold. It's like, well, what was the point in rep grinding in the first place? So I don't think they're gonna do that. That would be completely stupid if they did do that.
I don't know. It'd be smart though, because if you don't want to sit there and grind the rep, you don't want to take a week to grind this rep. You can spend a lot of gold to buy the item to have it now.
Yeah, but I mean, still, like, I just don't see it happening because there's going to be plenty of people out there that are just going to be like, they may not do rep grind, but they also, don't do, gold farming or whatever to try and get some gold. And yet they still want this item and they know that they can never get it because, one, they don't want to rep grind, and two, they don't want to get the gold for it. But somebody who knows how to play the auction house really well, and that's all they do is they sit on the auction house and they just buy stuff and sell stuff and buy stuff and sell stuff, got billions of gold, and they're just going out and buying it.
Praetorian.
Oh yeah, Praetorian.
God, when it comes to
he was ridiculous, dude. The guy had like over 10 million gold in Star Wars: The Old Republic. It was ridiculous. Like, it was unheard of how much credits he had in the game, and somebody like him would go in there and be like, oh, that looks like a really cool piece, gonna buy that one. And then what he may end up doing is cornering the market. He'll buy every single one of those pieces, keep one for himself, and then sell all the rest of them because he knows it's a hot commodity. He'll jack up the price so that people who want to buy it, it's gonna be impossible for them to buy it because it's so expensive. That's what people do in the auction house and everything. That's what they do. They buy stuff and they resell it for a higher price. They try to corner the market on a certain object that is extremely valuable, so that they know that they're selling the lowest possible price because they're buying out all the rest of them. So
I'm all for shortcuts. Trust me, I am. I like things being easy, but I don't see them doing that.
Yeah.
Letting rep rewards be sold. And trust me, I'd love for that to happen, but it's a rep grind. I'm sure there's other things that you can buy off the auction house from drops and stuff like that, but rep grinds I basically seen just purely rep rewards.
Yeah, honestly I think it's all
it's just wishful thinking on my part. We'll see what happens. You never know.
Now,
it's true. You don't know. And my sole purpose in this game is going to be decorating my house. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Because I want it to be like Animal Crossing in the land of Wildstar. And that's all I'm looking forward to. No, I'm kidding. But
no, don't feel bad. That's what a lot of us are looking forward to. It's going to be a major part of this game for me, is the house decorating. I loved Star Wars Galaxies, being able to do whatever you wanted in the homes, and even EverQuest 2 had a really good housing decoration system.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it just because it gives me something else to do other than sit in the city waiting for raid and everything, or if it's not a raid day or something like that. Instead of sitting in the city jumping around going, what am I going to do today? I can be in my house going, all right, I'm going to redecorate my house. I'm going to redecorate my land plots, try to figure out what I can put in this place so that it gives me something to do. It's a gigantic time killer. So
I'm going to create a jumping puzzle within my house.
Exactly, yeah. And that's what they did. They had those housing competitions during the beta a lot of people, they were doing those housing competitions, and one of the people I think that won was because he created an entire, you know, jump puzzle from his inside his house, which I was like, seriously? Yeah, you had to do like an entire jump puzzle just to get to his bed, and I was like, really? Like, just to go to sleep? You gotta like...
I thought it was his treasure room was hidden up in the attic, and you had to like jump on the stove and then jump on something else.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it is and everything, but... Yeah, it was ridiculous, dude. I was like, what? And like, what I would love to see, and this would be hilarious to see, is like one of the raids end up having like a jump puzzle, like a complex jump puzzle, and be like, at the end of it, have like this weak boss and everything, and it's like, oh, you defeated the boss because you know, he tried to make the super, I don't know, something like that would be interesting, because I love jump puzzles.
No jump puzzles for me.
Oh, I love jump puzzles. Nope. Like in Guild Wars 2, that was what all I did. I went out seeking every jump puzzle I could find just to do it, because it's fun for me. I like doing the jump puzzles just because it's interesting to see what different ways you can come up with. Of course, you know, they want you to do it a certain way, but sometimes you can come up with different ways of getting into getting into the place that you need to be at, you know, by doing the jump puzzles and everything. So, you know, I was like, all right, screw it, I'm gonna take a look, see what I can find out. Excuse me. Sorry. But yeah, Alistair's jump puzzles are the devil.
I will not do jump puzzles. I don't think I did. I tried to do one in Guild Wars 2, didn't work out very well, and I'm just like, nah, forget this.
Yeah. Yeah,
there were some amazing jump puzzles in Guild Wars 2. That was one of the only things I liked about that game.
Yeah, there was some really good jump puzzles over there. There was one that took me a while because there was a certain point where I kept jumping across and I kept missing and I kept missing and I kept missing, and then there was some where, you know, you walk down this hallway and like spikes come up through the ground and you're pretty much dead every time, and I was like, how the fuck are you supposed to pass this? And then there was something that I missed.
Awesome that, if you were an engineer, you could use your jump shot to jump to certain places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then
bypass parts of the puzzle.
Yeah, and then they had until they fixed it, they had like the hunter or whatever it was, the ranger, could just do like his little spin around attack with the great sword, and it pretty much did the same thing as the jump shot on there. And then, but they fixed it, and so it doesn't do that anymore. So I was like, yeah, that sucks. But yeah, so
there's one thing I want to talk about, because I know this is going to affect me really badly, is when you die. There's a bunch of options when you die, which surprised me. You can pay to come back to life where you died.
Yes, that only happens. It's once. Yeah, it's once every 30 minutes. So
that's once every half hour you can pay to come back. I didn't exactly. Well, I saw how much money it was, but I don't know what currency is like in the game, and it looked like it was like a silver, and I don't know if that's expensive.
No, it's not. It goes kind of like how WoW is, except for one extra after WoW. So it does copper, silver, gold, and then platinum. And he actually opens up his bags at one point. He has like 299 platinum, which is ridiculous.
He's sitting on 200 platinum, 49 gold, 6 silver, 22 copper.
Yeah, so
at that point in the video,
and it doesn't look like it was. And I think because it was 20. I think it was because he was in his 20s or something. Is why it only cost like 6 silver to resurrect where he was at. But
I believe it was level based.
Yeah, I want to say that it's probably level based. That at level 20, you know, at level 50 or whatever the cap level is, you know, you're going to be paying, you know, probably like close to like a gold or two just to resurrect where you're at. Because they don't necessarily want you to do it every single time it comes up. They want you to, you know, be like, all right, well, now they want to penalize you somehow so that if you do die, you know, it's a penalty for dying. And obviously, sometimes, you know, you're gonna pay for you to res up in that same place, but at the same time, you're probably still getting an overall damage or armor reduction. What is it? Armor.
Like the way I see it being beneficial,
durability.
Like if maybe something really good dropped and you died after it dropped, you can res in that spot instantly and get it. Otherwise, you risk maybe running back, and if I don't remember how the loot works, but. Yeah, I think it's on a timer before somebody else can pick it up.
Other people can pick up your... Okay, so let me ask, what you see on the ground if you kill stuff, like the body parts and stuff like that, is that like real time from what you're picking up? Like, if you have a weapon and it drops, do you actually see the weapon on the floor?
You see like a weapon. I think it just looks like a crate, and when you pick it up, it shows you what's in there and everything.
Yeah, it could look like a crate or a chest.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't remember, to be honest.
It's possible it may look like a weapon, although I haven't seen it. I didn't see him. I was paying attention to everything that dropped whenever he killed stuff, and it didn't look like anything was an actual weapon that dropped. So, the only time that we ever saw the weapon was whenever they defeated the boss in the dungeon, which I'm gonna come to that here in just a moment because that was pretty epic. The only time I saw a weapon on there, and that was pure. That was basically roll based on there, and you didn't even see it drop on the ground. It went straight to roll, and then the person got the item as soon as they won it. So,
and back to death too. If you pick your other option, does it bring you back to your like Hearthstone type thing, or does it bring you back to like the nearest like graveyard type thing?
Yeah, it was like the nearest hollow net, I think is what they called it, or something like that. It was like a hollow net or something. Probably what you have to do is go to whatever city's closest to you or something like that, and find like, it's probably gonna have you like attuned to a hollow net or something like that, you know, so that when you die,
it is a little wood crate, by the way.
Yeah,
I just saw it in the video.
So that when you die, you actually resurrect.
And I noticed that they have one of those hollow points in the instance. They had one in Storm Talon, which is really convenient.
Yeah, well, obviously, I mean, they don't want you to go over there and, you know, you die and then, oh, well, shit, you're going to have to go back to town and then come back into the instance just to, you know, resurrect. I want to say that they probably did it that way so that kind of like checkpoint system. So after the first boss, there was probably another hollow net so that you didn't have to resurrect all the way at the beginning of the dungeon. That would be probably ideal for them to do that. Sellers might be able to set up temporary red spots. That could be possible, Alistair. It definitely could be possible. They might be able to set up the temporary red spots. That would be interesting to see. Supposedly, what we're hearing though is that the way it's set up with the settlers is that it's kind of like an accumulative effort from all the settlers. They get all the stuff that they need to build these objects, and then they build it, and they have to maintain it. You know, they have to keep adding these things to keep it going, and if they don't add these supplies that are supposed to be in there, eventually it'll get taken down until they build up those supplies again to get it built back up. So it's possible we may see it come up, and then, you know, 2 or 3 hours later, if they haven't added more supplies to keep it going, we may see it go back down. So those that flight point that you had at one point probably isn't there anymore because the settler did not maintain it. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Alistair. The HoloNet point, it kind of works the same way on there. If we don't have, you know, settlers sending the supplies to the HoloNet place and maintaining it, then it'll probably go down, and we'll probably end up having to respawn all the way back at the base instead of having to just spawn at, you know, the closest HoloNet, which would be in a safe area or something like that. So the other thing that we saw that was really interesting, that was I was pretty much stoked to see it because I'm a huge PvE person. You can ask anybody in the community that I am straight up PvE. That's all I do. I'll do PvP every once in a while if I feel like I need to get on a good rage going, but that's pretty much. I don't like to do PvP because I suck at it so bad.
Same.
Right, but they went ahead and they did the very first dungeon that you can do in the game, Storm Talon something. Storm Talon.
Storm Talon.
Is it Storm Talon? The Storm Talon dungeon. So they did that one, which was pretty awesome. You go in there, we at least got to see the first boss, and the stuff that he does, and it was very interesting to see the kind of what's it called? Abilities that he was using, and like the telegraphs and things that you had to be careful of, because, you know, the boss was doing telegraphs that were checkered style. They do it in a big ass circle, and then they would actually do a checkered style telegraph on here. I'm actually trying to find it right now in the video, but it was interesting because not only did you have to dodge the checker style telegraph on there, but he also had these balls of lightning going around, and if it hits you, it stunned you for like a good 3 or 4 seconds. So it was very interesting to see it that way because, you know, most people were worried about, okay, hey, you know, he's going to do these abilities and everything. It's going to be simple. They're going to put these, you know, telegraphs on the ground. We just get out of the way and then keep nuking the boss. It wasn't that easy. You know, we could tell straight up on there. Here, you know what? I actually just found it. We're going to watch it right here. Let me show you guys exactly what I'm talking about here.
Alistair, you're funny.
Pro tips? Okay. So, don't be terrible. Bro tip number 1.
So right there, you actually see him. 2 things happen right there. At that exact point, you see where he was standing. There was that little checker spot. So he actually dodged a checker spot. But this big damn ball of lightning right here went and passed through him. And so passing through him, it stunned him for this certain amount of time, and it made him do what they call the breakout gameplay. And so he had to tap F so that he can get out of the stun or just let it go through. Obviously, we're going to hit F so that we can get the stun to go through or get over the stun and everything. But the boss does that for the rest of the time. You know, he goes through and he continues doing these abilities, and they have to keep dodging not only you see the checkered style in the circle right there, but then he's also got to dodge, you know, he's got to dodge all of these little circles right here to make sure he's not getting stunned. And he's the healer, and the healer having to do something like this, I mean, if you guys have ever healing a tank that's taking a shitload of damage is already hard enough and everything, so for them to have to go in there and do that as well, it's going to be very interesting to see. And this is only the first boss of the first dungeon. Imagine how much harder these dungeons are going to be whenever we get into it later, you know, for raiding and things like that. We're going to have, you know, 20-40 people going around going, well, shit. So on this one, I got to dodge right here, but if I dodge here, I'm going to get hit by 2 other things over here. So it was a very interesting thing to see how they implemented all of the different types of gameplay styles in there instead of just 1 or 2 and everything like that. After watching
all
it,
I know is I'm not pugging with anybody.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, you know, this is really going to make me not want to pug with anybody because, you know, I'm going to be sitting over here raging so hard. Like, are you serious? You could not see there was a checkered. It was checkered. Did you see the unchecked part? Get in the unchecked. You got hit by, I mean, I will rage so hard in there. So, and me, I think I myself am either going to be, you know, probably either a tank or a healer because that's usually what I like to play DPS, but 90% of the time, whenever I'm trying to queue up for something, we're always missing a tank or healer, and they get in like instantly. So I'm like, fuck it. I'd rather get all my gear immediately than have to wait. And you know, I'm kind of hoping the spell slinger is kind of like a ranged tank kind of thing going. You know, maybe, hopefully, a little bit. We'll see. We'll see about it.
I plan on being a healer. There's another reason now I'm not going to pug is that it seems like healing spells as an Esper, you kind of have to trust the person to accept it. Like, which one was it? It was like, I think it was Mirage, with the one with the fish on the floor.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like the priest Lightwell in WoW. Like,
yeah.
Use the goddamn Lightwell. Why is no one using the goddamn Lightwell? It's there for a reason. Like, even on the stream, he had it up and no one used it, and I was like, oh.
Well, actually, the tank did use it at one point. He did lay it down one time and then got out of the way, and then the tank kind of rolled back into it. I don't know if it was a pure accident or if he did it on purpose, but he kind of rolled back into the heal and got the heal on there. So he did use it once. He laid it down like 3 times, and only the tank used it only 1 time. So yeah, it is very interesting to see how you can set those up and be like, all right, tank, the Mirage is over here if you need it, you know, and that's going to be interesting to see because then you're going to have your Espers, they're going to be like, all right, I'm going to set up Mirage exactly where, let's say, where your safe zone is going to be over here so that you can get a heal as soon as you go to your safe zone. You know, we'll use that Mirage as an indicator of where your safe zone should be, you know what I mean? So it's definitely something that we can use for raiding and things like that, so it's going to be fun to see that. Definitely a lot of fun to see something like that. Yeah, Alistair, nobody ever clicked on that damn light well. I never clicked on that damn light well. I was like, if you're a priest, your job is to heal. Don't lay down a fucking light well so that I can click on it. Like, if I have to click on it, then that means, you know, that's a little bit less DPS that I'm gonna be able to do. So I'm like, screw that. I'd rather not.
Sorry, Mr. Chang. Is that too much?
What's this? I gotta heal myself.
Yeah, exactly.
What's this? I gotta do your job?
Right? Like, I have to heal myself. My job is DPS. I don't heal people, okay?
If I'm taking
My bad.
time to put that down for you, you better click the goddamn light well.
That's like a freaking warlock giving me a health stone. I'm like, you got time to click that?
Ain't nobody got time for that shit.
Right, exactly. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody got time for that.
Damn right, I'm more important. Exactly. Like my DPS is more important than than trying to heal myself. Like if you're here as a healer,
the faster I kill the boss, the less healing you have to do.
Exactly. That's the way I'm looking at it. So whether you like it or not and everything, that's the way it's gonna work. So anyway, but yeah. So and that was
So all I know is I'm not hugging. Those two things alone, I'm done right there.
Well, and also like Alistair said, with them doing the way they did with the dungeons and everything, how the healer does now have to actually pay attention to the battlefield. They have to sit over there and they have to move out of shit. They have to anticipate where they need to go and things like that. It helps out a lot in PvP too.
Heals too.
Yeah, well, only on some of them. Only on some of them. Like their AoE heals, they have to aim. Like that one AoE heal that he had that was like in that direct line, he has to aim that. But I mean, it has a really long range on it. So, and he can heal multiple people with it. So if he gets lined up in the correct position, which I'm assuming that a lot of these raids is going to require us to be in certain positions so that the healers can heal all of us at the same time, because they have their AoE heals, which are going to be direction based, and then they're going to have their single target heals, which obviously they just got to target the tank and heal them.
Have you ever played what's the name of that game? Crap, I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden.
All right, well that was interesting.
Terra,
so anyway,
Terra, that's it. Terra had that same mechanic in healing where you had to aim your heals and you drop them on the ground, and the players had to either stay in them or
and the healing on there still worked pretty well too. I mean, Terra right now, it may not be like a gigantic name game and everything, but it's still holding its own, and it still has a pretty strong player base. So obviously they're doing something right with it.
If you've not played it and you want to get some of the mechanics of WildStar down,
try
Terra.
Yes, I would definitely do that, guys. If you guys want to see what WildStar is going to feel like in the game, play Terra. Terra is a great game to kind of get in the groove of what the game is going to feel like. And the game is free to play, so you can just go over there, download it, play it. It's all good, good stuff and everything. Essentially, healers and PvE play a separate thing.
Like, yo, bro, you let me die. Bro, you walked out of my fucking telegraph.
Yeah, that's gonna be me and everything. I'm gonna be like, dude, like I told you 3 times, fucking stay still. I was like, bro, I can't stay still if the motherfucking boss is putting a goddamn telegraph right at my goddamn feet. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck if the boss is putting a telegraph at your feet. Stay in your fucking place so I can fucking heal you.
DPS running around like with the head on. Like, I'm trying to goddamn heal you. Stay in one place, please.
That's what, right, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The
WildStar
like, Collector's Edition is going to come with a paper bag.
Right.
For people to hyperventilate during raids.
Right.
Have the WildStar logo right on it.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be fun times in raiding and everything, and it's just gonna be interesting to see overall what kind of things come up out of raiding, and just the raiding aspect of the game alone was just gonna be very interesting too. I mean, think about it. They have it set to where if if you go in 1 week and the boss does a certain set of moves, it's like, all right, we need to figure out how to defeat the boss, and you're like, cool, we defeated the boss this week. You go back in next week. Don't go back in next week thinking, all right, guys, same thing we did last week, because that's not going to happen. They change it. They change the way the boss does their mechanics every week. So every week that you go in there and you do that boss fight again, there's a different mechanic, something different. At one point it could have been like a star telegraph on the ground, and it's like, all right, everybody, just stay out of the star telegraph. And then next week they're like, oh, it's not a star telegraph, it's a bullseye telegraph, and or
it doesn't matter what telegraph it is, you should just get the fuck out of it anyway.
That's what I'm saying too. But there could also be other. I'm just saying, there's other things that could be they could throw in there and everything, and completely throw off the entire balance of the group composition that you have. So I think group composition is definitely going to be a huge thing in WildStar. You can't just go in there going, all right, guys, we're gonna have a shitload of range people this time, and then it's like, well, now the boss is doing a whole bunch of range damage. We need melee people in there, and it's like, well, shit, or vice versa. Doing a lot of melee range damage. We need a bunch of range people, and we got no damn range. So it's definitely gonna be interesting to see how they keep changing things up and everything.
I do like that they added a cast timer in telegraphs.
Opie's like, but I thought the red made me DPS harder. that was my experience. That was my experience and everything. It's like stay in the red and DPS harder.
I gotta admit, one of the coolest things though, for sure, is as a caster, even a healer, is that you can move and cast at the same time.
Yes.
Nice. But they said that
no longer are you restricted.
The most stationary class. Like their cast timers, they have more cast timers where they have to stay stationary. Apparently.
Do they have to stay stationary? Because I thought I see him moving a lot while he's casting.
Yeah, they do
although
but they did mention that some of the skills are stationary. I don't remember which one.
Yeah, and I think
the ones that probably hit really hard.
Yeah, like his really
his heal really hard. I'm betting those will be stationary, and that makes sense.
Yeah, because you don't want somebody to be able to
be able to move to do that. You want some danger.
You were and then I guess that would make getting out of the telegraphs a little bit harder.
Right, you have to choose. Are you going to stay in that telegraph, or are you going to release, your heal early and then get out of the telegraph?
Yeah.
I've been trying to always get out of the telegraph type things, like fire, but oh my god, I'd be so pissed if I'm like about to cast something and you have to make that decision. Do I finish? Do I leave? Finish? Do I leave?
Well, and it's always been the huge, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If a telegraph comes at your feet, you get out of the way, whether you're going to interrupt a heal or not and everything, because if you take that hit and it's a one-hitter quitter, we'd rather have you not be able to heal something than to die and not be able to heal at all, So that's the way I've looked at it, at least. So,
Well, I remember Final Fantasy? There was some battles where you had to stand in it and you couldn't just get out of it.
Well, yeah, like
to soak one of them.
Yeah, but that was kind of like
it
was like one of those things where if you got out there that was gonna insta kill you or something like that, so you kind of had to take some of that damage and everything. So that kind of made sense and everything. That's possible. We may see something over there like that where it's like, all right, he's doing this telegraph. We need to make sure we get on the most outer edge or whatever like that, so we take the least amount of damage, but we still have to take some damage from it. So we could definitely see something like that. Resto Shaman Ghost Wolf. The thing is, Alistair, is that they've already said that a lot of the melee is going to have a bunch of gap closing abilities. The warrior, for instance, has that ability where he can jump across and jump to his enemy and get into melee range that way. That's one that's one gap closer, and that's like on a 10-second cooldown, which is very often. They said that he also has that chain pull thing where he like pulls them straight to him, so that's another basically a Scorpion's get over here. So that's another, and like Opie said, there's also the anchor too. So I mean, they have so many different things that they can use so that they can close the gap between those casters and everything. So definitely it's going to be an interesting way to see things. But yeah, so next week is actually
the gap closers and everything. Hold on real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's going to make playing on a PvP server interesting, because you're going to have to keep certain abilities on your bar while you're out there playing in the open world, just in case you get caught in a PvP type situation.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to maybe sacrifice some abilities to keep, your breakout.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
Not even gonna worry about that.
Yeah, but if you're running away and I drop an anchor on you and you don't have your breakout, you're like, oh no, this sucks.
Yeah, and then I just take it.
Well, the anchor, they said that on the anchor you're actually going to be able to destroy that thing. So if you have enough DPS, I mean, they may drop it on you and you're like, oh shit, I got to destroy that real quick. They'll close that gap on you for sure, but you'll destroy the anchor and then put on slow on them or something like that and just run back away. So there's going to be different ways. It's going to be interesting to see what different abilities that they're going to offer people so that they can get away from them and keep going towards them and get away from them and things like that. So I'll definitely keep an eye on that. So next week we actually have the Spellslinger being revealed, or quote-unquote re-released to the public. So
that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it too, to see what kind of things the Spellslinger has to offer, because the only thing we've seen so far is that they're DPS for sure. I think somebody said that they were also healer, but I don't think I've ever seen the videos of them being healers, so we don't know for sure if that's true or not.
They are healers, yes, that is true.
And then there's also rumors of them being a ranged tank as well. So we need to definitely get some definitive things as far as what they will have available to them whenever the class drop comes tomorrow. So they'll have the class drop tomorrow, and then on Saturday they're going to have their stream again. And then, of course, next week on Tuesday we will be doing another Terminus Tuesday to discuss what they talked about on Saturday and the video that they dropped on Wednesday. So, if you definitely want you guys to tune in with us next week as well. Kwin will actually be on camera this time. She won't have a choice on this. Oh, you will. So next week,
you're gonna be wearing that shirt,
that blue shirt that's in your picture.
No, I'm not gonna wear it.
Because then we'll get some viewers.
Right, and then we'll get some really good viewers and everything. Be like, what up?
We'll be tweeting that. Kwin will be wearing the tank top today.
We're gonna put it just like that. Kwin's wearing a tank top. Sexy.
Hashtag sexy. Oh god.
Alright. But that pretty much wraps up for today, guys. We've covered everything as far as what was released for the Esper and everything. As usual, guys, if you have any questions as far as any questions about anything that was gone over in the stream and everything like that, by all means ask them. Send us a message through the Twitch website, directly. We can answer the question on stream the next week. That way we can cover any questions that you guys have and everything. Also, if you have any suggestions or anything like that, definitely give us a holler as well. We'll actually take those into account. Other than Kwin being on camera, that's going to happen, so don't worry about that. I got that covered.